Welcome into the Blurred Wire. It's your host, King Whale, and today, I know it's been a minute since I was able to put an episode up, but today we have a very good reason to do so as we are breaking down the new Fantastic Four trailer that just dropped. So take a look at it with me. We're going to watch it together, and then I want to hear your thoughts down in the comment section while I give my thoughts on this episode.
Welcome to the Baxter Building.
We make a point to do family dinner every week. Sunday at 7, on the dot, no matter what. We're all here.
Herbie, how's that sauce coming?
Yeah, I'll be the judge of that.
Okay. Okay, is this guy good or what? I want to add a couple cloves of garlic. Not because it's not delicious, I just want to add a little bit of zip, okay?
T-5.
Before we went up the first time, you couldn't turn invisible. Ben wasn't a rock. The best pilot in the world right here.
Yeah. Best looking, he means.
And Johnny never caught fire.
Ben has always been a rock. Johnny is Johnny.
Hi!
And I am right here. Whatever life throws at us, we'll face it together. As a family.
So there's not really that much more that I can say to this to really add to it. I mean, the trailer already kind of covers itself really well. It's very clear that they're going for a heavy family theme, which, again, it's a Fantastic Four, so what else would you expect? It wouldn't be a Fantastic Four movie if you weren't discussing themes of family, because it's literally what the entire comic run is about. And that's been the way with every single Fantastic Four movie that we've ever gotten. The three that we've gotten and the one that shall not be named. But it looks like Marvel's definitely not shying away from that. It looks like that's going to be a major theme of the movie. And I really like the line where Vanessa Kirby's character, Sue Storm, where Pedro Pascal is Mr. Fantastic. He's saying, that was before Ben was a rock, and that was before you could turn invisible, and Ben was a rock. And I really love her response of her saying, well, Ben's always been a rock. And that's the perfect way to respond to that, as well as, it really highlights what she's trying to illustrate that, yeah, we're different, but we're still the same. And I think she could even went even further, been and Johnny's always had a fire, before when he said Johnny can catch fire. And she could have been but you just might need to be a little more. You might just have to learn how to be a little more flexible, as a nod to each of their abilities. I'm not saying Marvel should put that in the script, and I'm not saying I'm predicting that that's what it's going to be in the script, but I would not be surprised if that's the direction they went with that, because it just works so well for all their powers. But either way, fantastic trailer, literally. And I think, I don't know, I'll be honest, I was never a huge fan when I found out it was going to have a retro 60s aesthetic, because I didn't really get it. It was going to be in another universe. We're going to have to learn to care about these characters that are in a different world. And it just kind of felt like not really necessary, I guess, to me is the right word. But it is going to stand out and kind of feel like it's its own movie, in that it's, like I said, very retro. It kind of reminds me of the Jetsons, as like I said, Sean Chandler brought out. Because it's so similar to that futuristic, but still old school style with the way they have their cars and their technology. So obviously it's set in a different universe. We already knew that. And so I guess we'll see how it ends up playing out. I always said that if Kang or Doctor Doom or even Galactus was ever the end game for the multiverse saga, I would have introduced a Fantastic Four movie way earlier. And by way earlier, I mean I'm talking 2022. I would have been onto my third Fantastic Four movie in 2026, probably. But, obviously that's not how it ended up playing out. That's not how it ended up working out. And it feels like now they're doing a bold move to kind of set this apart because we're gearing up for Doomsday. And my friend and I had a long conversation. We still don't know how the Robert Downey Jr. Victor Von Doom fits into it all. Is he going to be in this movie? We don't know. They did not say that he's going to. He's not in any of the trailers. And but Marvel's also really good at keeping secrets and pulling the wool over our eyes, like they did with Deadpool and Wolverine, and a couple of those cameos. So I guess we'll see for sure. It's like I want to be surprised in a good way. Like I don't want everything told to me. I want to be able to go in the theater and enjoy it. But I also know like the very existence of podcasts like these and the internet is why it's so hard to keep things secret now because everybody can just talk about it whenever. So I get that that's tough. So like I said, we'll just have to see. And the trailer, I'm not really surprised that they didn't show it during the Super Bowl. Like they could have waited to show it during the Super Bowl, and before Endgame, they probably would have. But now in this era that we live in, where you can make so much money from YouTube ads, it's so funny because Disney is literally putting out a trailer, which is an ad for their movie, and they're gonna make millions of dollars off of that ad for their movie because YouTube is gonna play ads on their ad for the trailer, right? Like we've gotten to an era where instead of Disney having to pay for their trailer to be out there, they get paid for putting their trailer out there. And that's just a proliferation of YouTube and all those things and how that all kind of comes together, which is, I think, has created a very interesting dichotomy among fans and among the way things are released now. Because now that's why we get trailers so much earlier than when the movies come out. Because it used to be we wouldn't get trailer for this until maybe March. It would be a long time. Like you maybe would see trailers for it in Captain America. Maybe you'd probably be seeing trailers for it in Thunderbolts, right? But now we get trailers so much earlier because, like the movie's probably not even done being edited yet, but we get trailers so much earlier because it gives so much time to talk about it, and all that rolls back into, oh, I heard this person talk about it. Let me go watch the trailer again. You watch the trailer again, it's more money for Disney. So that's kind of like the corporate commercial side of it, and probably why they made the decision that they did, which I just find interesting to see the way the industry continues to evolve and change as things evolve and change. But overall, I think the aesthetic will play out pretty well. Um, I think the casting choices will I think the casting choices will work really well. I think Vanessa Kirby is probably going to be the best Sue Storm that we could have gotten out of some of the names that were cast up there, unless it was someone that I didn't know. From what I see in the trailer, again, we don't have a whole lot to work with, but it seems like she does a very excellent job. She's very level-headed, very calm. And I think she's doing an excellent job playing her. I still don't know about Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. I don't know necessarily who I would rather have. I'm just not entirely sold on it because I've seen him out of all the characters he's played. Again, that Reed Richards get lost in his work. I don't know, but I won't know until we see it, until we get more of it. And then of course you've got Ebon Moss-Bacrach as the Thing and Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm. And I think Ebon Moss-Bacrach has the quirkiness and like the funniness to play Ben. Usually he plays kind of edgier characters. But he's got enough of that sass to really get across Ben Grimm pretty well. And then Joseph Quinn, I honestly haven't seen enough of him to know how he'll be as Johnny, and this trailer didn't really give us any indication of it. Because, Johnny's like, that pretty Chris Evans really was the perfect casting for Johnny Storm. Now that I go back and look at like now, because like when Chris Evans first became Captain America, I was a kid. I didn't even realize that he was the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four. I didn't even realize it as a kid. And then as I grew up and I watched all these older Chris Evans movies, I was like, Chris Evans is literally Johnny Storm. That was a perfect casting. And I'm like, how did he become Captain America? Because that is such a different character from what he usually plays. But anyway, Joseph Quinn was in A Quiet Place Day One and in Gladiator 2. And in both films, we didn't really get to see his acting range or what he can do. Because in A Quiet Place Part 1, he was mostly silent because Quiet Place. And in Gladiator 2, he dies a very gruesome death and he's kind of overshadowed by everything that's happening around him. But it will be interesting to see him and Pedro Pascal, reunite after starring together in that movie and then coming together in Fantastic Four. And I think based upon Gladiator 2, I think he'll play a calm, stoic role pretty well. And it's so weird to know that Pedro Pascal plays Din Djarin because again, we don't really see him do that. But yeah, so it should be an exciting movie. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Yeah, obviously, I'm going to go see every Marvel movie there is because that's me. But let me know your thoughts about the trailer. Is there really enough about it to kind of get a feel for the movie, or is the jury still out? Obviously, we loved seeing Galactus, our actual Galactus, and it'll be. I think the retro aesthetic also works because again, it's very comic booky, and also Galactus is gonna look a little funny as a massive being like a celestial like that type of being, the way he's going to look, it's going to be interesting, right? And I think the 60s aesthetic will help make it not stand out as much and look so weird. It'll kind of help balance it all together. So yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. And again, let me know your thoughts if you think Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom is going to have any kind of influence on this movie, or if he's going to be in it at all, or whatever you think about it. Let me know your thoughts below. And thank you again for joining us. Um, until next time.